Kung Pao Chicken. I love this dish because it's very quick. You can modify it to your liking, and you know what, switch it up any way you want. The first thing we're gonna do is oyster sauce. Oyster sauce really is the core of Chinese cooking. It's not soy sauce. Hoisin sauce, which is more of a sweet, kind of caramely coverage to it. We wanna always add a little bit of acid, and this is just basically rice vinegar. This is Chinese chili garlic sauce. Now, how much of this is totally dependent on how spicy you like it. So if I'm cooking for the kids, I'll probably back down quite a bit. And then last thing is a little bit of soy. Good rule of thumb, team, is if you're cooking Chinese food, stay with Chinese ingredients, right? Because Japanese soy is not exactly the same as Chinese. Guess what? I've just made stir fry sauce. That's how easy it is. Let's get into produce prep now. I always have bell peppers, I always have onions, I always have scallions and some garlic on hand, because that means I can slam together a stir fry any night of the week. And you know, marry that to a little bit of white rice or brown rice, you're good to go. So I leave the onion flat and I cut with the edge pointing towards the actual core. So this is how I like to take apart bell pepper. I make everything into a tile first. So there's a tile off the back, there's a tile off the front, okay? And then I actually will take my knife in the side, open up that flap, turn and cut, and that's how I make bell peppers into one giant tile. And cut them into kind of large dice, like 1 inch or 3/4 inch dice. Scallions, I usually split them greens to whites. And if I want a vegetable in a scallion, I'll do 1 inch, right? And you can put an angle on it if you want. But if I want to garnish, I'll actually take these and angle them, what we call a bias slice. Finally, I've got raw protein on deck. And what I'm doing is using a gel board. And this knife, once it touches this chicken, is going away. I'm gonna cut with the grain first in about 2 to 4 inch width pieces. And then I'm gonna cut against the grain, angling the knife and making tiles. This is the cut I like to recommend for stir fry, because check it out, it's nice and thin, okay? And it'll cook up really evenly. And I'm gonna show you how to marinate this chicken for maximum deliciousness. We call this velveting in the Asian kitchen. So all velveting means is, how do we tenderize it? How do we get it slippery and have a beautiful type of texture? Baking soda is the key. I would say about 1/2 teaspoon per serving. I've got a little bit of cornstarch for that kind of slipperiness. And then finally a little bit of oil. You could actually do this a day or two ahead. You could do this and freeze it. You can always put a little soy sauce. So let's do that today, why not, right? So this would be a dark velvet right here, which means just adding soy sauce. This is only gonna hang for about a minute or two, which is gonna be plenty of time to get the tender chicken. But the longer this goes, the more tender it's gonna be. Well, first things first is we're gonna get our pan very hot. You don't need a wok to make great stir fry. You do need high heat though, and neutral oil. And I'm gonna be always using grapeseed oil here. Canola, peanut, vegetable, you don't need to get fancy, but you do want to see that oil hit that smoke point. That is critical. I'm using the rasp a lot lately for doing garlic. I like how even this is. It's gonna cook super fast. In normal times, if I'm chopping garlic, I'd let it cook up a little bit, but since I'm using the rasp, I'm gonna get the chicken in a lot faster this way to cool the pan down, to protect that garlic a bit. Just stir it, keep flipping it. And I can really get in there and dig out the pieces that are browning, because brown food tastes good. It's a Jet Tila mantra. Chili amount is up to you, but I do want to bloom them a little bit, so I'm going to throw them in now on the early side. The only thing I don't want to throw in right now is probably going to be the scallions, because they're going to cook up really, really quickly. If you feel comfortable, feel free to toss. The nuts are going to go in. Look at that. It's already gorgeous. I'm about a minute out right now. So this is the time for sauce. Let's give that sauce a stir that we made. You could always extend this sauce with chicken stock. Let's get those scallions in, okay? There's only one way to make sure what you cooked is delicious, and that's tasty. So let's give that a roll. Let's do a little bowl. Always lastly on a good stir fry for the last bit of aromatic. A little white pepper, very floral, a little spicy. Let's do a little bit of the scallions on top. That's what I'm talking about.